Should we as Miami Dolphins fans be concerned about the offensive line? I'm Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and I'm here to break it all down.
Miami Dolphins #1.
Now, before I hop into today's video, quick little plug to the merch shop, thedolphinsdive.com, for the best Dolphins merch out there. Keep your eyes peeled on my social medias for potential sales and giveaways coming up in the near future. Without further ado, I'm going to hop right into the question. Obviously, it's been a frenzy on social media talking about the offensive line position. You have some bigwigs in the social media game really calling for position to be addressed and calling it very bad. And then you have some of the most respectable people as well, in my opinion, Travis Wingfield on the other end, saying it's not as big of a deal as you guys may think. And I'm here to break down the question of what is wrong with the offensive line. So I think this is a multifaceted question. I think on face level, I really enjoy our starting offensive line if it's fully healthy. Obviously, that's a big if, which would be Teron Armstead, Isaiah Wynn, Aaron Brewer, Robert Jones, Austin Jackson. So I think that's a quality line when fully healthy. Only issue is Isaiah Wynn has yet to be spotted at training camp, and Aaron Brewer just went down with a hand injury. So that's where the concern starts coming in, because then you're looking at Liam Eichenberg as well as a Jack Driscoll or Lester Cotton becoming full-time starters for you, which I understand the concern. I want to start off with saying this scheme is centered around being able to help out the interior offensive line. You even go back to the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of their interior offensive line is low investment players that are just perfect scheme fits. Even last year, despite all the injuries, I think the offensive line didn't play too poorly. That's because this scheme is designed to help them out, whether it is the quick passing game, being a balanced offense so these pass rushers can't pin their ears back. Yeah, the lack of true passing sets because of the play pass, as well as just getting the ball out in 2 seconds like Tua does so well. You have the speed that allows you to even push the ball downfield in a quick amount of time. So it is less of a concern than I think some people may be worried about, but it is still a concern in my opinion, because I think part of the reason the Dolphins struggled so much is when you face those good teams and you get stuck in those second and third and longs because they're able to stop the run, and then they do know it's a passing down, those guys can get whooped and get exposed. So I understand the concern from some people in the fan base, but like I said, I think on face value, the offensive line, when fully healthy, is good. Obviously, the internal staff has a better understanding of how far off Isaiah Wynn is, because I think that's a big question mark. If they see him coming back by the beginning of the season or early on, I feel a lot more comfortable. But like I mentioned, if he's not, and then you have Aaron Brewer with the hand injury, which doesn't seem like it's going to keep him out too long, but maybe it's a recurring issue. You just never know. So that's part of the concern. But I'm just going to touch on the scheme one last time, like a perfect example of how this offense really is able to make these offensive linemen better. I have a friend who is a Giants fan, and they had John Feliciano with them, and he said at best he was a mid-level to bad starter, and he goes over to the San Francisco 49ers and is one of the best interior linemen in all football. This scheme just allows these players to really maximize their potential because what they're asked to do, and they know what kind of skill sets they need for this scheme to operate. So although we might be questioning some of these people's skills on the back end of this roster, when it comes to game day and when they have the scheme helping them out, whether it's getting help from the center or just double teaming in the run game, this really allows these players to not be as exposed as we might think they might be, as well as the fact that we have some continuity. Like Eichenberg, as much as people like to crap on him, I think he is a solid backup player. If you had to rely on him to start from time to time, I honestly wouldn't be too concerned. I think last year at center, despite being on a bad foot, I thought he played decent, and considering that he should be healthy now, I think that can only help him out even more. Him sitting out of the preseason game is kind of an indicator of how this coaching staff feels about him. So I think the coaching staff feels better about some of these players than us as fans might think. Jack Driscoll is kind of a question mark. He started at center for the preseason game, but I think our tackle depth is phenomenal between Kendall Lamb and Patrick Paul. I think you have two very quality backup tackles. So I'm not worried about the tackle position whatsoever. I think your starting tackles are quality, and I think your backups are also quality. Now, the interior line, I understand the concern, like I said, but this is just something that these schemes do. Between the Niners, the Packers, the Dolphins, they aren't as concerned about the interior offensive line as us fans are. I think as we get healthy with it, Isaiah Wynn coming back, with Aaron Brewer coming back, and then you have the depth of Eichenberg, Driscoll, and Cotton, which I think as depth players aren't bad. I don't think this offensive line as a whole is bad at all. I think it can be just as good, if not better than last year, especially with improved health. I will say though, I would not hate to see the Dolphins go out and sign a veteran guard. I think that would be good. I think the big question mark for that, in my opinion, is Isaiah Wynn's health. If Isaiah Wynn is kind of one of those situations where he's just never going to return, we've seen it as Dolphins fans. Injuries are a part of this game, and I have full respect of the player not rushing themselves back to potentially hurt the impact of the rest of their lives. So if he doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon, I would like to see them address the guard position and sign a veteran guard, or maybe make a late round trade for someone. But overall, I don't think this offensive line is as big of a concern as some of you guys might think. But that's my opinion. Comment your thoughts down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was somewhat informative. Like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and until next time, fins up.